there! So today I'm going to be talking about the top 20 questions I have been asked when it comes to being a minister's kid, and I'm going to answer them for you. Okay, number 1. Did you go to a lot of funerals / did it shape your view of death / was it scary? Yeah, I went to a lot of funerals. Saying the first funeral I ever went to, I don't remember, I was just a baby. Because I went to several funerals a year until my dad retired from ministry. So basically that was about 16 years. Did it shape your view of death? Yes it did. It shaped my view of death differently than it did my peers. I was a lot more accepting of death because I understood really early that was something that was coming. There was nothing I could do about it. And I was least likely to fall into a depression after it. Especially since, with going to a lot of funerals, I got it jammed in my mind that after the person dies, it's about carrying on their legacy, and swallowing under into a depression would be a shame to their legacy, and at least that's what I thought about it. So yes, my view of death was different. Was it scary? One time. And do you want to know why it was scary that one time? Because I still swear to this day that the corpse that I saw looked like Thomas Jefferson. Number 2. Did you ever feel pressured into behaving a certain way or participating in certain activities being the minister's kid? Sort of, but not by my parents. It was more so by the churchgoers. When I was younger, whenever I didn't want to go up for one of my dad's children's sermons, a well-intended guy, he was very well-intended, nice guy, he took me out into the hallway, and he would tell me that since that was my dad, I was obligated to go down there for every children's sermon, or else people were going to think that I was mad at my dad and rumors would pop up. Well, I don't recall that rumor ever starting. And yes, I was expected to be at some church activities that were going on, but everyone knew better than to actually force me to go. If I didn't want to go, at least my parents did. So, problem solved. Number 3. Did you have a rougher or easier baptism process? So, I guess if you are the minister's kid, you're either going to get beat down harder, or you're going to have an easier time. Well, not when it comes to my baptism. No, I had the exact same baptism process as the next person. So, no different special treatment there. Number 4. Did you ever feel slapped with a label being the minister's kid? No, actually not once ever, even though that label was put on me quite a bit. If anything, I actually felt like that label was on my dad, and that did bother me, because when we were at events, such as a mission trip, or vacation Bible school, or just church outings in general, I felt like a lot of people would forget that guy was not just the pastor, he was also my dad. So when he would come over and try and do activities with me that all the other dads were doing with their kids, it would often get cut short, because he was the pastor, he had duties, but I felt like people forgot he's also a dad. Number 5. Did your family do more home worship than normal? Well, who are you comparing me to? Because I guess the answer actually is no. We did do praying over meals, of course, but that's about it. Home time was family time, especially since when I was a toddler and my dad was taking me home, and he said that was his home, and I said, "No, Daddy, that's my home. That's my home and Mommy's home. Your home is at the church." Ooh, too much time at work. Sorry, Dad. Number 6. Did you ever fall asleep during your dad's sermon? Oh, sorry. What I miss? Yes. The answer is yes, I did. Mostly when I was a teenager because I was tired. Teenagers do not usually fall asleep when they're supposed to. And just like my dad, actually, I have problems with sleeping. So, yes, because I knew my dad understood that and he wouldn't yell at me for it, I would sometimes fall asleep during my dad's sermons because I wanted to be up for youth group. Number 7. Did your dad do your wedding? Well, no. But granted, I am not married yet. But when I do get married, no. My dad is not doing my wedding. He is forbidden from doing my wedding. I am putting my foot down on that. He will not be a pastor at my wedding, just a dad. Number 8. Did you move a lot? No. We only moved twice. I was one of the lucky ones that didn't have to move very much. Granted, that's as if I'm saying that the move was nothing. I am still upset to this day that we moved away from the place I was born in, because that was my favorite place of all time, so far anyway. Number 9. What was the hardest / best thing about being the minister's kid? Probably the hardest thing, honestly, was the fact that if there was any drama going on in the church or gossip going on in the church, I would know about it. Because, of course, the pastor's going to know about it, it's going to get talked in the house, and even if they try talking about it when I'm asleep, I can still hear you. Yeah, that was a hard thing, particularly if it was something going around my dad. Nobody wants stuff to be stressing out their dad. The best thing about it was, if I wanted to be a part of a certain activity, like if I wanted to be the acolyte on Halloween and do the candles Christmas Eve, which I did just about every year when I got big enough, it was because all I had to do was ask my daddy. Because no one else knew that you could ask my daddy that. They thought it was just randomly assigned. No, I asked, so I got to do it. Yippee! Number 10. Were you an angel or a devil growing up? You mean like these guys? Hey, what are you doing? Get back here. Hey, go away. Hey, stop it. Okay, enough of that. I was actually neither. I was a very weird teen. I was not a typical teen. I didn't really hang out with much of anybody as much as I wanted to. Basically, what I was mostly interested in was exploring stuff, like exploring through my video games. Yes, you can explore through those, but nobody else was really interested in that but me, so I was actually mostly alone when I was a teenager. I was still not angelic. No, I did not offer up to do the dishes whenever my mother wanted me to, as much as she wishes I had. And no, I did not voluntarily go out and feed the homeless. Okay, number 11. Was an exorcism performed on you due to starophobia? What? Okay, so some of you may not know, I actually have starophobia, so for those who do not know what that is, it is fear of crosses or crucifixes. Well, no, see, my dad never did exorcisms on anybody. He was not that kind of pastor. And even if he was that kind of pastor, my dad did not know that I had starophobia until he was no longer doing ministry. It's because one day he got me a nice Celtic shirt that had a cross on it, and I refused to wear it because I did not want to see the cross. Number 12. Did you ever have talks with the Trinity? Actually, quite the contrary. When I was really little, and I don't remember, I do know that I would talk to the statue of St. Francis Assisi, and a lot of the nuns were convinced that I was actually talking to the spirit of St. Francis. I don't remember, so no comment on whether I was or not. Number 13. Did you worry about going to hell / sinning more than others? No, actually, because that wasn't the type of preaching that my dad did. My dad felt it was more important to focus on, God and heaven, stuff like that, and that it, wasn't good to focus too much on being afraid of hell. So, no, I was never, ever afraid of going to hell, not one time. There was one time where I was a bit afraid of sinning, because in my youth group, I had been told that when you cheat, that you are sinning. And in video games, there are a lot of cheats. So I went to my dad and I asked him, when I am cheating in video games, playing by myself, not with another person, am I sinning by participating in the cheats built into the games? Luckily the answer was no, because that is not me being dishonest towards anything. I am just enjoying programs that the makers put in so I could do the cheats and have fun with them. Whew. Number 14. Did your nightmares take place in churches? Yes. This is actually a question I have gotten asked before by other ministers' kids. Because I spent a lot of time in the church, since my dad would often take me to work when there was nobody there, it was quiet, spooky. Woo! I mean, I guess your nightmares always take place in the places you hang around most. So yes, I did have a lot of nightmares that took place in churches. Still to this day, I don't really like being in churches at nighttime, and I especially do not like being in churches by myself, because I'm worried that something is going to pop out at me. Which brings me to my next question. Number 15. Did you fear God more than the average person? Well, that depends. When I was awake? No. But when I was asleep? Yes. I had a lot of nightmares about God growing up. But he wasn't doing anything like mean to me or chasing me or hurting me. What he was doing was, I would often hear a signal from him that he was coming, and you know in dreams you're never smart enough to run away. And when he came, he would be crawling on his hands and knees. He would peek over the corner, like always peek out of nowhere, and he would just stare at me. Like, stand there on his hands and knees, just staring at me. And I think that dream came from because, as long as I can remember, I have always had a scopophobia, which is fear of being stared at. And I think, like, as well intended as this message was, the idea of somebody always being with you and always watching over you, that's what it was like to me, and it scared me to death. Number 16. Did you ever see any ghost? No, unfortunately, no. I tried to see ghosts several times. And like with all the murder cases that I investigate, and particularly ones that are all unsolved, I'm pretty sure that if ghosts were going to come out, they would be hounding me quite constantly, begging me to solve their murders. So, nope, sorry, no ghosts. No ghosts here. Nowhere. Hey, what is that? Number 17. Are you afraid of the zombie apocalypse? What? What in the world does a zombie apocalypse have to do with being a minister's kid? Well, believe it or not, I am actually asked this question quite a bit. No, I am not afraid of no zombie apocalypse, because being in so many funerals in my lifetime, trust me, there are no zombies. That person is dead. They are not going to get up and start walking around. They're not going to eat your brain. Nah, there's no need to be afraid of the cemeteries. Therefore, no zombie apocalypse. Now, a disease that can make somebody act like zombies, yes, that is totally possible, but we won't get into that. Number 18. Would you ever become a minister? No. No. After seeing what comes with becoming a minister, no, I would never, ever become a minister. Ever. Number 19. Was that real wine you were drinking during communion? Oh dear, I hope not, because they allowed me to drink it when I was 9. No, it was not real wine. It was just grape juice. Though I have heard in certain religions they do use real wine, but they also don't have communion every Sunday like my church did. Like, I actually found out later that my church was rather unusual to be doing communion every single Sunday. The last one, number 20. What is a good behind-the-scenes story about something that happened in the church? Well, I think the best one I can come up with is when I was younger, I found out why a rule was put forth that you are not to pour coffee down the drain anymore. Well, that rule was put forth because one day when I was at church with my dad and he was cleaning along with 2 other churchgoers, the woman went into the kitchen and then I heard her yell, "Holy cow!" And then I went into the kitchen, and there was this massive, big, ginormous, murky, disgusting brown puddle all over the kitchen floor. It looked like the kitchen had puked. Like, I found out that this happened because coffee and grease was being poured down the sink, and I guess the plumbing did not like that, and it spit it up into the drain. So from then on, no more coffee was poured down the sink. Probably no more grease either. So yeah, if anyone ever tells you not to do that, that's why. Well, that's about it for the top 20 questions I've been asked. If you have any more, maybe I'll answer them.